A black Mercedes S, 280 screams into the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. It is moving at nearly 100 miles per hour. Inside, the air is thick with panic. Behind them, a swarm of motorcycles, like angry hornets. They are not carrying guns. They are carrying cameras. They are hunting the most famous woman on Earth. In the back seat, she turns her head. She sees the strobe lights of the flashbulbs bouncing off the tunnel tiles. For 16 years, these lights have been her shadow. They were there when she was a shy virgin of 19. They were there when she held her babies. They were there when she cried. And now, in the terrifying darkness of a Parisian tunnel, they are the last things she will ever see. There is a screech of tires,
a sickening crunch of metal against concrete.
And then, the horn. Just the relentless, singular sound of a car horn echoing in the dust. The Queen of Hearts is bleeding out on the back seat, and the people who chased her. They don't call for help. They don't check her pulse. They keep taking pictures. Because in their eyes, she isn't a dying mother. She is a commodity. She is the front page. This moment, right here, is the brutal punchline to the greatest fairy tale of the 20th century. The world watched a Cinderella story, but they didn't realize they were actually watching a Greek tragedy. History remembers Diana Spencer as a saint, the people's princess, the woman who hugged AIDS patients when the world was afraid to touch them. The fashion icon who broke the stiff upper lip of the British Monarchy. We see the smile, that shy, head-tilted smile that could melt glaciers. But the truth is a devastating paradox. She was the most photographed woman in human history. Yet she felt completely invisible. She was adored by billions of strangers. Yet she was unloved by the only man she wanted. She lived in palaces with 300 rooms. Yet she spent her nights vomiting in a bathroom, alone, trying to purge the pain that was eating her alive. We bought the magazine covers. We watched the wedding. We consumed her image. But we rarely asked what it felt like to be the product. To the world, she was a goddess. To the royal family, she was a problem. A volatile, emotional, inconvenient problem that wouldn't just sit down and be quiet. This video is not going to be a montage of her best outfits. We are not here to gossip about who she dated. We are here to dissect a psychological thriller. We are going to explore how a naive 9-year-old girl was selected, groomed, and thrown into a machine designed to crush individuality. We are going to look at the fairy tale and strip away the gold paint to see the rust underneath. The thesis of our story today is simple but terrifying. Diana didn't die in the tunnel in Paris. She started dying the day she put on the ring. We will see that her life was a desperate, clawing battle for survival. A battle between her human need for love and an institution that demanded duty above all else. This is the story of a bird who was given a golden cage, and when she tried to sing, They told her she was crazy. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. The year is 1981. Britain is in trouble.
The economy is failing.
Riots are burning in the streets. The people are tired, gray, and hopeless. The monarchy needs a distraction. They need a splash of color in a black and white world. Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, is 32 years old. He is unmarried. He needs a wife. Not a soulmate, but a wife. A vessel to produce an heir. Enter Lady Diana Spencer. She is barely out of school.
She works as a kindergarten assistant.
She loves romance novels. She has no past, no scandals, and seemingly no voice. She looks perfect on paper. The royals look at her and see a blank canvas. They think she will be pliable. They think she will do as she is told. They were wrong. They didn't realize that beneath the taffeta and the shy blush, there was a spine of steel waiting to be forged. They invited a lamb to the slaughter, but the lamb would eventually grow up to shake the foundations of the throne. Let's turn the page to Chapter 1. Act 1. The Lamb to the Slaughter. To understand why Diana said yes to a prince she barely knew, we have to go back to a silent house in Norfolk. Diana was not a commoner. She was an aristocrat. She was born into wealth and privilege. But inside Park House, there was a war. Her childhood was defined by the sound of her mother weeping and her father shouting. When Diana was 6 years old, her mother, Frances, left. She didn't just leave the marriage. She lost the custody battle. She left the house. There is a haunting image from Diana's memory. She is sitting on the cold stone steps, clutching her small suitcase, waiting for her mother to come back. But the car never came back. From that moment, a hole opened in Diana's heart. She grew up believing she was damaged goods. She wasn't smart like her sisters. She failed her O-levels twice. She wasn't the heir like her brother. She was just Diana, the girl who loved romance novels because real life was too quiet. She became a kindergarten assistant. Why? Because she wanted to give children the hugs she never got. She was looking for a savior. She was looking for someone to tell her she was worthy. Enter Prince Charles, the world's most eligible bachelor. He was under immense pressure to marry. He needed a virgin. He needed an aristocrat. He needed a Protestant. He dated Diana's older sister first, but then his eyes fell on Diana. She was 19, fresh-faced, uncomplicated, or so he thought. Their courtship wasn't a romance. It was an audition. They met only 13 times before they got engaged. Let me repeat that. 13 times. Most of these dates weren't dinners. They were walks in the rain at Balmoral, surrounded by family, dogs, and security guards. She passed the Balmoral test. She didn't complain about the mud. She laughed at the right jokes. She curtsied perfectly. Diana fell in love with the prince. She thought he was lonely, just like her. She projected all her romance novel fantasies onto him. Charles. He didn't fall in love. He made a hiring decision. She fit the job description. February 24, 1981. The official engagement interview. This is the moment the mask slipped. This is the moment that should have stopped the wedding. Diana is wearing a blue suit that matches her sapphire eyes. On her finger, the giant ring. She looks shy, tilting her head, blushing. She is radiant. The reporter asks the standard question, and I suppose you are both very much in love. Diana answers immediately. Her voice is soft, sincere. Of course. Then, there is a beat of silence. Charles looks down at his hands, then looks at the reporter, and says 5 words that would haunt Diana for the rest of her life. Whatever in love means. Diana gives a nervous giggle. The reporter laughs it off. But look at her eyes in that footage. The light goes out. Imagine being 19 years old. You just told the world you love this man. And he basically tells the world, love. That's a philosophical concept I don't really subscribe to. It was a slap in the face. It was a warning siren screaming, he does not love you. Run. But she didn't run. She was caught in the headlights of history. The dress was being made. The souvenirs were being printed. The train had left the station, and she was trapped on board. Why did she stay? Why do any of us stay when we hear whatever in love means? Because Diana was guilty of a very human mistake, projecting. She didn't see Charles. She saw a prince. She saw a solution to her loneliness. She was so desperate to be loved that she ignored the reality of the lover. The lesson here is brutal. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Charles was honest. He told her he wasn't in love. But Diana was listening with her heart, not her ears. She entered the marriage thinking she could fix him with her love. She thought her warmth could melt his coldness. She didn't realize that you cannot warm up a statue. She walked down the aisle at St. Paul's Cathedral with a 25-foot train behind her, watched by 750 million people. She looked like a princess, but inside, she felt like a lamb being led to the altar. She looked for Camilla Parker Bowles in the crowd as she walked down the aisle. She knew. Even then, she knew there were 3 people in this marriage. 1983. Australia. The Royal Tour. This was supposed to be Prince Charles's moment. He was the future king. Diana was just the accessory. But something unexpected happened. When the car stopped, the crowds groaned. They groaned when Charles walked to their side of the street. They shouted, "We want Diana. Bring us Diana." She was electric. She didn't wear gloves. She reached out and touched people. She laughed. She held babies. She was everything the monarchy wasn't. Warm, tactile, human. In the car, Charles was furious. He made a joke about it. I seemed to be collecting flowers for my wife, but his eyes weren't laughing. He was jealous. He realized that the shy girl he married had eclipsed him. She was the star. He was the supporting actor. Inside the palace walls, the resentment grew. They blamed her for stealing the spotlight. They called her a media manipulator. They didn't see that she wasn't trying to outshine him. She was just trying to survive by being loved by the only people who would love her back, the public. While the world saw a fashion icon behind closed doors, Diana was fighting a demon. It started a week after the engagement. Charles put his hand on her waist and said, "Oh, a bit chubby here, aren't we?" That sentence triggered a bomb in her mind. Bulimia nervosa, the secret disease. Diana described it as a mechanism of escape. When the pressure became too much, when the silence of her marriage became too loud, she would eat. She would eat everything in the kitchen. For a few minutes, she felt full. She felt comforted. And then the shame would hit, and she would purge 4-5 times a day. Imagine the scene. A princess in a ball gown, vomiting into a gold-plated toilet bowl, wiping her face, applying lipstick, and walking out to wave at the cameras. It wasn't just about weight. It was about control. In a life where she couldn't choose her schedule, her husband, or her future, this was the only thing she could control. It was a silent scream. She was destroying herself so that someone, anyone, would notice she was in pain. But the royal family noticed, and they didn't offer a therapist. They labeled her unstable. They used her illness as proof that she was the problem, not Charles. January 1982. Sandringham. Christmas. Diana is 4 months pregnant with Prince William. She is sick. She is lonely. She knows Charles is still seeing Camilla. She tries to talk to him. She begs him to listen. Charles dismisses her. He says, "You are crying wolf. I'm not going to listen. I'm going riding." He turns his back on her. And in a moment of pure, blinding despair, Diana does the unthinkable. She stands at the top of the massive wooden staircase, and she throws herself down. A pregnant princess, falling down the stairs of the Queen's estate. She lands at the bottom. She is bruised. She is shaking. The Queen Mother comes out, horrified. The staff is terrified. And Charles walks out the door. He gets on his horse, and he goes riding. He didn't stop. He didn't hold her. He treated it as a tantrum. This is the moment. The fairy tale didn't just crack. It shattered into dust. Diana lay there on the floor and realized the terrifying truth. He doesn't care if I live or die. She realized she was entirely alone. The castle wasn't a home. It was a prison. And the man she loved was the warden. For years, she suffered in silence. But pain changes you. Pain burns away the fear. 1989. A birthday party for Camilla's sister. Nobody expected Diana to go. Why would she go to a party filled with Charles's friends and his mistress? But she walked in. She was terrified, but she was done being the victim. She found Charles and Camilla chatting in the basement. She walked right up to them. She told the men to leave. And then, the lamb looked the wolf in the eye. Diana said, "I know what is going on between you and Charles, and I just want you to know that." Camilla replied, "You've got everything you ever wanted. You've got all the men in the world falling in love with you. You've got 2 beautiful children. What more do you want?" Diana didn't blink. She said, "I want my husband." She didn't get him back. It was too late. But that night, walking back to the car, Diana cried tears of release. She had stood up. She had spoken the truth. The 9-year-old girl was gone. The warrior was born. Why did Diana fail at the royal game? Because the royal code is stoicism. Never complain. Never explain. Hide your pain. Wear the mask. Diana failed because she refused to wear the mask. She was visibly unhappy. She was visibly human. But here is the profound lesson Diana taught the world. Your deepest pain is your greatest power. Because she suffered from bulimia, she understood shame. Because she was unloved, she understood loneliness. Because she was an outcast, she understood the rejected. When she shook hands with an AIDS patient without gloves, it wasn't a PR stunt. It was recognition. She looked at that dying man and thought, "I know what it feels like to be treated like a leper." She realized that her broken heart was a bridge. It allowed her to connect with people in a way the Queen never could. The royals thought her emotions were a weakness. They were wrong. Her emotions were her superpower. She turned her personal nightmare into a global movement of empathy. She stopped trying to save the marriage. She started trying to save herself. And the only way to do that was to burn the fairy tale to the ground. June 29, 1994. The night Prince Charles went on national television and admitted he had been unfaithful. He tried to control the narrative. He tried to make himself look like the victim of a loveless marriage. The palace expected Diana to hide, to cry, to be humiliated. Instead, she went to a party. She stepped out of the car wearing a dress that violated every single royal protocol. Black silk, off the shoulder, tight, sexy. It was the revenge dress. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Her smile said it all. "I am not your victim anymore. I am Diana." The next morning, Nobody was talking about Charles's confession. They were talking about Diana's legs. This was the turning point. She stopped waiting for the palace to validate her. She realized that if they took away her title, she would build a new one. She would be the queen, not of a country, but of hearts. August 1996. The divorce is finalized. Diana received a settlement, but she lost the most important thing, the title, Her Royal Highness. This wasn't just a name. It meant she was no longer family. It meant she had to curtsy to her own children. It meant the royal protection officers were removed. She was stripped of her armor. She was now a civilian woman, alone in London, hunted by the most aggressive paparazzi in the world. William, just 14 years old, famously told her, "Don't worry, Mummy. I will give it back to you when I am king." But she didn't want the title back. She wanted a purpose. She wanted to use the cameras that hunted her to hunt down the evils of the world. January 1997. Angola. 7 months before she died. This is the moment Diana transcended celebrity. She traveled to a war zone. The Civil War had left the country littered with landmines, hidden killers waiting in the dirt for a child's foot. The experts told her it was dangerous. The press called her a loose cannon. But look at the footage. Diana puts on a heavy ballistic vest and a plastic visor. She looks fragile, but her eyes are determined. She walks into the active minefield. One wrong step, and she is dead. She walks past the red skull and crossbone signs. She walks where soldiers fear to tread. Why? Because she knew the cameras would follow her. If she walked there, the world would have to look there. She used her fame as a spotlight. She forced the world to see the maimed children, the amputees, the horror. She sat with a young girl who had lost her leg. She didn't just pose. She touched the wound. She held the girl's hand. In that minefield, Diana found her true calling. She wasn't a princess anymore. She was a humanitarian warrior. She was risking her life to save strangers. It was the ultimate act of defiance against a royal family that told her to sit down and be quiet. August 1997. The south of France. For the first time in years, she looked happy. She was tanned. She was laughing. She was dating Dodi Fayed. She was planning to move to America, to open hospices, to start a new life away from the British tabloids. She called her friends and said, "I finally feel free." She didn't know that the clock was ticking. She didn't know that the revenge dress, the panorama interview, and the landmine walk had made her too big, too loud, too uncontrollable. She was a bird flying higher than ever before, unaware that the storm was waiting in a tunnel in Paris. When she died, the world didn't just cry. It screamed. The ocean of flowers outside Kensington Palace wasn't for a royal. It was for a friend. So, What is the true legacy of Princess Diana? It isn't the fashion. It isn't the scandal. Her legacy is the modernization of the heart. Before Diana, the monarchy was a cold, distant institution. It was about duty, stiff upper lips, and gloved hands. Diana took off the gloves. She taught us that vulnerability is not weakness. She taught us that you can be a queen without a crown, as long as you lead with love. She forced the monarchy to change. Because of her, William and Harry grew up hugging their children. Because of her, we talk about mental health. Because of her, the stiff upper lip trembled, and finally, it spoke. She was the crack in the marble that let the light get in. She died at 36, but in those short years, she lived more than most people do in a century. She showed us that even if you are trapped in a nightmare, you can still dream of a better world. And if you are brave enough, you can wake up and build it. We have traveled a long, emotional road with Diana Spencer. From the shy girl sitting on her suitcase in Norfolk, to the glittering prisoner in Buckingham Palace, and finally to the humanitarian warrior in the minefields of Angola. If we look back at the tapestry of her life, a complete philosophy emerges. First, the tragedy of her marriage taught us to beware of fantasy. Diana fell in love with a prince, not a man. She taught us that no title, no tiara, and no castle can fill the void of being unloved. We must believe people when they show us who they are, not who we want them to be. Second, her battle with bulimia and depression taught us the power of vulnerability. She proved that perfection is a myth. By showing her cracks, she didn't break. She let the light in. She taught us that our deepest wounds can become our greatest bridges to connect with others. And finally, her walk through the minefield taught us the definition of legacy. She didn't just wear the crown. She dismantled it. She showed us that true royalty isn't about bloodline. It's about service. It's about having the courage to walk into danger to protect those who cannot protect themselves. She was a candle in the wind, yes, but she was also a forest fire that burned down the old rules. To everyone watching this video, you may not live in a palace. You may not have paparazzi chasing you, but we all have our own royal protocols. We all have voices telling us to sit down, be quiet, fit in, and wear the mask. Diana is whispering to you right now. She is telling you that it is okay to break the rules. If your fairy tale has become a nightmare, wake up. If you are hurting, speak up. If you feel like an outcast, stand up. Don't wait for a prince to save you. Diana waited, and he never came. In the end, she had to save herself. And in doing so, she saved millions of others. Be the queen of your own heart. That is a title no one can ever divorce you from. Now, I turn the floor to you. Do you think the media killed Diana? Or did the monarchy? Was she a saint? Or was she a master manipulator of the press? There are no easy answers, but I want to read your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation respectful, just as she would have wanted. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. It helps us keep these stories alive. And if you are fascinated by tragic icons who were consumed by their own fame, you simply must watch our next episode on Marilyn Monroe. Like Diana, she was the most photographed woman in the world, loved by millions, but died alone. The parallels are terrifying. Click right here to continue the journey. I'm Peter. Keep your heart open, even when it hurts. I'll see you in the next chapter of history.